Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace. I'm your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. I am also a legal document assistant LDA based in the greater Los Angeles area. Let's do a little conflict coaching today because conflict is all around us and people just piss us off. Let's talk about the 24-hour rule. You don't have to wait 24 hours. Okay, but let's talk about this. When you're divorcing someone, your emotions are running high. You're upset at the person, you're hurt, you're angry. Maybe it's in anger directed at yourself, who knows? But emotions are high, fueled a lot of times by hurt, by fear, and also by people on the outside, whether they are meddling in your marriage because they're your family, or they're meddling in your marriage because they're the third person in your marriage or the fourth person. Emotions are running high, and there is nothing wrong with emotions. Emotions are a wonderful thing. But if they are running out of control, they are going to make a big mess. That is going to be harder to clean up. If your child throws up in the bathroom, it's so much easier to clean that up because of all those hard surfaces than if they throw up in the living room. It's all up in the carpet now. Think about it that way. You've got a mess to clean up, but it's just how messy is it? The 24-hour rule is you got to wait 24 hours before you respond to something that pisses you off. 24 hours before you react. And you could call it a reaction or a response, but 24 hours. And reaction is really something that's immediate. So you really want to give yourself 24 hours if you can. Listen, we're all working on our self-control, and we have different levels of self-control, different levels of mastery of self, depending on the situation, the person, and also like how you're feeling that day. So like anything conflict related, give yourself some time to work on this. It's not going to be perfect, but don't let the pursuit of perfection prevent you from trying. Waiting 24 hours can give your nervous system a chance to calm down so that you can become reasonable. When you are in that lizard brain, that lower part of the brain, you are not reasonable. You are unable to think clearly, to reason. You just want to cuss somebody out. Ooh, and you don't care who hears. You hope that there's an audience. You hope you can dress them down. Oh, you just fantasize about it, right? You can't wait. That's a big old mess of vomit in your living room on your brand new carpet. It doesn't matter what they did to you. This is a conflict coaching little mini session. It doesn't matter what they did to you. It does, but what their behavior does not get to dictate your response. You don't have to clean up their mess. Your job is to not create a mess of your own. I can already hear you going, yes, I do have to clean up their mess because now I got to take care of the kids. They decided to do X, Y, and Z, and now I got to take care of the kids and be like, now we have to live this way. That's not the mess I'm talking about. I'm talking about the emotional mess, the mess that is created by intense levels of disrespect and a lack of self-control. That's on them. They have to clean that up. They have to live with themselves. You get to live with you. And you get to look back on your reactions and your responses and not feel regret. So when I say it doesn't matter what they did to you, I mean don't let their actions dictate yours. Take time. Take the time you need. So if somebody says something that makes you really mad to the point where you want to cuss them out, or tell them the truth about themselves, and you know that they can't handle that truth, it's just going to make your life worse, take a break. Sometimes people don't want you to take a break because they're baiting you into a fight. Take the break anyway. Get away. Do something else. It's very easy when it's in written communication. Our temptation now is to respond right away. You get a text message, you're going to respond. You get a voicemail, you're going to respond. You get an email, when you read it, you'll respond. Unless it is urgent, you don't need to respond right away. Most things aren't emergencies. They just feel that way. Listen, I'm preaching to myself. Things feel like an emergency, but they're not. What I find is I might not need 24 hours. I might just need a good night's sleep. But my nervous system has got to calm down so that I can become rational. So I can get out of this part of my brain and move up into this part of my brain that's sophisticated and advanced and has reason and judgment and nuance. That's what we want to do. There's a couple of ways to get from here to here. There's a couple of ways. You're going to take your break. It's amazing how much I think I don't need a break, but then I take a break and I'm like, ooh, oh, that was good. Sometimes you find you take a break and you don't need to respond at all. You know what that does? Your lack of response doesn't fuel them. They don't get to feed off of your panic, your anger, your disgust, your rage, your hate of them. They get nothing. Nothing. They hate it. It's great for you. And guess what? You ain't got no mess to clean up. So when you take a pause, right, you don't feed into that emotions, but it gives you a chance to kind of like that craziness to go away. One of the things that I like to do, one of the things that really helps, I like to run. So going for a run is great. You can, or, doing some sort of physical activity, not a walk. A walk is not aggressive enough. You need some physical activity, some kickboxing, something where you're sweating, you're getting that out. You're getting that negative energy out of your body. Your body can regulate again. Another practice that is really good is writing. Writing helps you go from your right brain to your left brain, which is this is where more of the reasoning takes place. So if you write how you feel and what happened and all these things, you can get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm calm. Now, every person is different. Sometimes doing that helps for me. Other times it just makes me more angry. And then the writing is so aggressive, it's illegible. And I'm like tearing through the paper because I'm like writing my points. That's not helpful for me all of the time. Sometimes it is. A lot of times it's not. I've got to move my body. And then, like I said, a good sleep, making sure you have food, finding something that will make you laugh. In a divorce, everything feels like an emergency. So if you've got anxiety, if you're panicking, if those types of things that are happening, recognize it's normal. It's normal. But if it's not an emergency, it's going to be okay. That other person's just going to be pissed off that you didn't respond right away. That's also not an emergency. What happens over time, if you are in a relationship with somebody who is exhibiting narcissistic tendencies, what happens over a time when you stop reacting, you stop giving them fuel, they stop trying to feed off of you. When you start displaying and exhibiting behaviors you wish they would show you, some of them are a little hard-headed, but eventually they will mirror that back to you. So taking 24 hours or 18 hours or 12 hours or even an hour, the whole point of this is just to not word vomit everywhere. Taking that time, you regain power. You hold the power in that situation. And you get to decide how things are going to move forward. Taking that time is not about trying to punish or or destroy the other person or withhold things from them. Taking that time is about you. So I really want to encourage you that get away. If you can put the phone down so you don't have to respond right away, great. If you're in the same house, if you can say, hey, you know what? We got to take a time out. I'll get back to you tomorrow, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go for a run, and you get out of the same space, do that. If you're in a mediation, that's my role as a mediator, to be like, and scene. This is not something that I need you guys to talk about again unless I am present. And I have said that before. It's not often, but I've had to say that of, this is great. We're doing good. We're going here. Any of these other issues, go ahead and chat with one another about that outside of mediation, but not this. You come back to me for this. Conflict is inevitable. It's how you respond to conflict. You have a marriage, most likely you have a marriage that's not crumbling. It's already demolished. And the legal process is just the death nail in the coffin. That's it. But what you are doing is now that marriage is dead and buried. Now you have to build something new. And how you respond to this conflict creates a future relationship with your former spouse, with your co-parent. And if you begin to master this in this personal relationship, you get to work, you're already a master of it. And before you know it, you'll be pausing, you'll be taking overnight. You're not going to be reacting. You're going to be the most professional person in the room, and it's going to positively impact your future. So take these lessons. My mom says, don't waste your sorrows. Don't waste the sorrows of your divorce and come out of it not having learned anything. Try the 24-hour rule. Let it change your life. If you need help with a spouse who is just pushing all your buttons and maybe they don't want to mediate, but you need some conflict coaching, let's chat, because conflict coaching can really change your life. You are in control of you and no one else. You can do this. I'm here to help if you need it. Have a great day.